And big ideas from the big names, Deepak Chopra, Will.i.am, General Wesley and Princess Ameerah Al-Taweel. Things get pretty lively at the Clinton Global Initiative. You want to make farming sexy, don't you? The Clinton Global Initiative encourages big ideas from world leaders and celebrities to help others around the world. I spoke with President Clinton yesterday and then sat down with my CGI panel. The Saudi philanthropist, Her Highness Princess Ameerah Al-Taweel, health and wellness guru Deepak Chopra, recording artist Will.i.am, and retired General Wesley. Let's start. Princess Ameerah, let me start with you, because you're a fascinating lady in many ways. You come from Saudi, obviously, where you've been in the vanguard of promoting women's rights in a country that's not been renowned for that over the last few centuries. How important is it to you to be doing this in Saudi Arabia?
I think women's rights not only are, like you said, at the vanguard of what we really need to focus on in Saudi Arabia, but also in the region. And I think that the strongest form of empowering women in the region, and more specifically Saudi Arabia, is economic independence. Because once a woman is counting on herself, she will not put up with a lot of things that you see in the media. And if you're talking about numbers, a lot of people focus about women and driving in Saudi Arabia, but not being able to drive has not stopped us from developing. 120 billion Saudi riyals worth of real estate are owned by Saudi women. 45 billion Saudi riyals in bank account savings are for Saudi women. 8 billion riyals of investments are pumped by Saudi women. All of these women go to work. All of them are very passionate about what they do, and driving has not stopped them. And if anyone in this room really want to help women in the region, economic independence, I can never underline that. It's the first thing to focus on.
General Clark, we've seen an extraordinary sea change. I mean, I joined CNN on air January last year and was immediately hit by Tunisia, Egypt, Libya, the death of bin Laden. I mean, these are cataclysmic moments, each individually, never mind put together. The Arab Spring seemed to bring such excitement. We're now looking at a slightly murkier picture. Not quite sure what is going on in many of these countries. What can America, or what should America do, if anything, to hasten or to change the current process?
It should inspire hope, trust, stability, and compassion. I think people look to America as a leader, and if we can inspire hope, trust, stability, and compassion with practical things, like the princess said, the economic empowerment of women, everyone knows in the United Nations that's the fastest way to change the world in the direction of not only peace, but social justice, economic justice, sustainability, health and well-being. It's 50% of the population of our planet, and they're disempowered for the most part.
Will, Princess Ameerah, the common thread throughout the Middle East, and indeed America, is a lot of young people who have had perhaps education they couldn't have had before, certainly in many Middle Eastern countries. So they're better educated, but there's no job at the end of a line for them. And this creates huge resentment and frustration, so much so that you've seen a lot of leaders being toppled, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. But what is the ethos that leaders and countries need to adopt to try and stop this horrible cycle now of a youth who just feel disenfranchised and not able to fulfill their potential?
Economic development. When you have young people who have amazing ideas, entrepreneurial spirit, 60% of those jobs that need to be created will be through entrepreneurs. But you don't have banks that believe in them, you don't have people that support them, you don't have incubators and mentors to help lead with them. And so when you don't have the ecosystem to actually deal with this huge issue, add to that the governments that have fallen, the new structures, civil society, all of these issues at the same time, it's not going to be easy. But, you know, it all takes action, and we're taking action. We're starting an initiative called Up for Unity. It's not just about job creation and helping entrepreneurs grow. It's more about having ladders of opportunity, and that's what Up for Unity is all about. We're working with partners, we're working with the Clinton Global Initiative, and we want to tap into the resources, the amazing platforms of many partners around the world, and create those ladders of opportunity. And we have an idea like the first food university, which is very interesting.
Now, this is great. This is a food university. It's my idea of total utopia. So, you know, you described it, or I won't put these words in your mouth, but you want to make farming sexy, don't you?
I told them we want to make farming cool again, and, you know, what's happening with farming is that the average age of farmers is 60. Can you imagine that? We're trying to bring cool back to farming through this university. We're talking everything from the minute you plant a seed to the minute it gets served on a plate. The whole supply chain. And we're bringing people from around the world. We want to have it in Africa because 60%, we have 2 billion people coming in the next 3 decades. How are we going to feed them? 60% of amazing crops are stuck in Africa and unused. And so we want to tap into that. We want to have it in Africa. We want to have it in the best way possible. And so it's all about technology, agriculture, making farming cool again, where young people come back into that field. We cannot afford to lose young people being interested in farming.
And presumably we want female drivers for the tractors.
Hopefully, yes.
When we come back, I asked my all-star CGI panel, is America the world leader it should be? Or can this country do better? And speaking of all-stars, take a look at that all-star audience, including Barbara Streisand. Lots of big ideas from my all-star panel, the Clinton Global Initiative. They are Highness, Princess Ameerah Al-Taweel, Deepak Chopra, Will.i.am, and retired General Wesley Clark. And they're pretty fired up about health and education. Is China the enemy that many Americans see it as, or should it be a global trading partner to mutual benefit? I
think that, you know, we live in a very diverse world, and we need to embrace that. If China is excelling in something, that's great, but guess what? America is excelling in technology as well. And I think that with China, what we need to create, which, like you said, it could burst, it's a bubble that could burst at any time, is ladders of opportunity. Many people are stuck in those factories for hours, doing the same thing every day for years. And so creating those ladders of opportunity, working with these big corporates where people can strive to become in better jobs with better lives. And so I am not against a certain country or a certain nation excelling in something. I'm actually embracing that.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, countries are going to do what they do. But America has to figure out what it is we are. We are our own enemy right now. Somebody still hasn't told me why we spend so much money on prisons and not for education. Why does that just slip over people's, you know, why does that go one ear and the other?
Business. Prisons is a better business. Prisons are privately enterprised.
Yeah, but why is that? Who said that was okay? I don't, just answer.
I agree. Who did say that was okay?
Who said drones were okay? Who said drones were okay? Who said economic injustice is okay? Who says 50% of the world is living on less than $2 a day, 20% less than $1 a day?
I travel the planet. One day I'm in Brazil, the next day I'm in Slovakia, the next day I go to little nuggets, Kazakhstan. The majority of the people in prisons are Latins and African Americans.
It's true.
From my community where I come from, I have to bring STEM to them, to stimulate them, to inspire them to not take that route. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. It's an emergency right now. It's a national security issue. America, the Department of Defense needs educated Americans around STEM. And if we're not educating them, and the private sector said it's okay that, you know, prisons is a big business, but education isn't, that is messed up. I'm sorry.
I want
Next, big names with big goals. I'll ask my CGI panel what they hope to achieve and how long it will take. Here for the Clinton Global Initiative, and you all have in your own way your own particular areas that you're pushing here, and social media is hugely an important part of that. Why is the CGI now so important to so many people in your position?
Well, because of what you're seeing in front of you. You're seeing world leaders sitting next to an entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, a person who just started an NGO, same level, all talking about committing to something. That's what makes CGI special. And, you know, you wouldn't see that in other platforms. You would see those in power sitting with those in power and disregarding those who are just starting, who could be the next leaders of their own cause. I see a lot of young people coming in with so much confidence, and they want to talk about what they want to do and how you can be involved.
General Clark, your particular area, energy, oil, tell me a little briefly about that and your relationship with CGI over that.
Well, I think we've got to understand our responsibilities as global citizens. Global warming, climate change, it's a fact. We had the lowest ice pack at the end of the season in the Arctic Ocean ever. And now they're saying maybe ice-free in the summer, not in 2050, but maybe even as early as 2020. So we do have a responsibility. In the United States, we're about the only educated country, or OECD country, let me put it that way, that will argue that this isn't primarily a human problem. So somehow we have to take this political system, we have to move it the right way. And it's time for the United States in this area to lead. We didn't lead. We should have led. After Kyoto, it's time right now, urgently, for the United States to team with China and lead us forward out of where we are in carbon and into a new responsibility as global citizens.
United States doesn't have to go through a battle to lead the world. You are already leading. You have other leaders who are emerging out there, which is fine. This is a globalized world. It's not a hegemony for anyone. So just embrace them, keep inspiring, and keep doing what you're doing. And believe in young people. Believe in technology and science, and have leaders like them lead the way.
It's a marathon. So it's not a, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm 37. I've done all the things you could possibly do with music. And I never thought I would be able to do those things when I was in the ghetto. I never thought I was going to play the Grammys or work with Michael Jackson or do the Queen's Jubilee or the World Cup or the Super Bowl.
Or most importantly, this panel.
Or the panel. No. I never thought that NASA would send a rocket to Mars, and when a rover lands on Mars, beam the song back to the planet Earth to educate and inspire these kids to take an interest in STEM. From 37 to 57, I'm dedicating 20 years of my life to STEM, to get these kids stimulated, to create a whole new system in America, starting with my little neighborhood, Boyle Heights, and turn these people into entrepreneurs and innovators.
Good for you.
But we have a responsibility in America not just to inspire as individuals with our values, but also to take our political system forward and continue to inspire that way.
Bringing things to an end by giving the lady the final word.
I was just going to say, I was asked if which president I would like to see re-elected. I said Bill Clinton. He's a true leader. He gathered all of us here today. And, I just want to thank such inspiring leaders. You all believe in what you're doing. And I think that the more leaders we have in such fields, the better the world would be.
And the good news is I spoke to Bill Clinton about the 22nd Amendment, which prohibits him from running again. A, he wants that changed. He actually said that he thinks it would be a good idea so you could have a break and then come back. I wonder who he's thinking of. And secondly, I said to him, if you can't do that, we'd like to change our rules in Britain and have you as our Prime Minister. To which he replied, he's apparently, because of his upbringing, his family background, he can run for President of Ireland or France, which I was amazed about. So we may see the new French president in 5 years, Bill Clinton. Ooh la la. Anyway, you've been a very captive audience. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank General Clark and Deepak Chopra and Will.i.am, Princess Ameerah. Lots of